I am not surprised that Melvin Gordon felt that he had to move on from the Los Angeles Chargers. It was clear that the run game was working fine even without him, and that Austin Eckler could and should shoulder the load moving forward. Hello fantasy faithfuls, and welcome to another breakdown video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. The Chargers never really wanted to pay him in the first place, and with a viable option to take on more carries, it just wasn't going to happen for Gordon and the Chargers. However, I never expected him to move to the Denver Broncos. To me, this made no sense from a team building perspective, as they have a second-year quarterback and already have a pretty crowded backfield. But the more I think about it, the more I like it if I put myself in the Broncos brass headspace. They are, in the opinion, always in win now mode, and a stud running back like Melvin Gordon fits into that narrative. Over the last 3 years, Melvin Gordon has been the 8th most reliable scorer week to week in PPR for running backs. That is on its own a great feat, and add that he has had the 10th highest ceiling, we could easily see that for fantasy, that he's a top 10 back and should always go in the late first or somewhere in the second round. With him sitting out parts of 2019, Gordon has somewhat fallen out of favor with the fantasy community and is now being drafted in the middle of the third round. This is great value, and let's look a little bit deeper why this is so good. Denver has had, over the last 2 years, one of the most diverse play calling when it comes to the run game in terms of where runs are going on the field. Looking at Philip Lindsay and what he did in 2019, he had 34% of his carries up the A-gap, which is 5% above the league average, but not crazy high as to make this a must zone, but it will be an important factor in Gordon's production. So we're looking at his runs up the A-gap from 2018 and 19. We find something very interesting that has to be accounted for. In 2018, the Chargers' production in the A-gap was around 4.4 yards per carry, well above the league average. However, in 2019, this fell off to 3.4 yards per carry, and Gordon was actually down to 3.2 at one point. But as this was a team-wide decline, it is safe to assume that it wasn't just Gordon's rushing that was falling off, but the blocking. And with that in mind, the injuries like Mike Pouncey and Russell Okung are the big issues here, not Gordon's rushing ability. With a stronger offensive line, Gordon should easily be back to 4 yards per carry up the A-gap and outplay Philip Lindsay on these type of runs. The rest of the play calling, as I've mentioned, is extremely diverse. They are around 11% of the team's carries to each of the other running lanes. So we shouldn't stare us blind on the fact that Gordon is not the best of runners when carrying the ball to the left side of the field. Sure, this will limit his yardage production if plays continue to be called 33% of the time to the left, but he'll make up for that with the runs to it right, where he's one of the best in the league. When bouncing the ball to the outside, a tight end on the right side of the field, only a handful of players gain more yards than him. So rushing trends wise, this is a good move for him. Not fantastic as, let's say, Mark Ingram to the Ravens, but it's still a very good fit. In the red zone, the Broncos are getting a machine that will improve their scoring by a ton. I love Philip Lindsay as a runner, but in the red zone, he's just not on the same level as Melvin Gordon. Last year, on 30 carries, Gordon scored 8 touchdowns in the red zone with a depleted offensive line. Philip Lindsay scored 5 touchdowns on 27 carries. The main thing here is that Gordon had more competition for touches in the red zone. Rivers threw the ball 75 times last year, while the combination of Broncos quarterbacks only threw it 50 times. So the share of carries compared to passes is larger in Denver than it is in Los Angeles. And if we assume, like I do, that the Broncos will be better, they should get in the red zone more. And with Gordon, who I view as somewhat of a red zone specialist, I see him easily scoring 8 to 10 touchdowns again without any problems. With that and his ADP in the mid-third, I'm super excited to draft Gordon. I think this is a tremendous value for a guy that has still gas left in the tank on a team that wanted him. You shouldn't be expecting a top 10 finish, but a top 12 is reasonable, and since you're drafting him as the 17th best running back right now, you're getting bang for your buck. Let me know what you think of the move in the comments below, and thank you for watching. Till next time. Hello fantasy faithful, I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget to check out more of them right here and here. In case you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a beat.